Record. Done. Okay.
Got it.
Yay.
Okay. So currently it's just you and me, and maybe introductions because you're our new director.
Sure.
So would you like to?
Yes. So I'm Erin Stevenson. I'm the program director for the Bachelor's in Social Work program. And yeah, I teach the social policy class. Some of you may have had me for research. I'm the only one that's teaching research right now, both online and in person. So if you haven't had me yet, you will probably. So look forward to working with you.
And there might be some new fall A students out here. And I'm Kerstin Peterson. I am the graduation track advisor for all of the online social work students. I got like right now I've got 250 plus that I'm actively, advising. Big group of students. But I look, LaQuanda Miller, she's the initial enrollment advisor that starts everybody out when they're new. And then after the first semester, 3-4 weeks into the first semester, people transition to me. And then you got me until graduation. So then I work with you then. And so we kind of set up this little 30-minute Q&A session. We didn't know how many could pop in, but we're recording this session, and we'll just send this out to you guys on Monday. And but we kind of wanted to just kind of go over general questions we get, particularly me, and then anything, Dr. Stevenson, you want to expand on, things that you think are really important that they're looking for. Do you want to start, or do you want me? How would you like to do this?
Why don't you start and I'll just jump in. I don't want to.
Okay.
I don't want to up and say in-person stuff first and
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. And so everybody by now, they've received the application email. Can you see my screen okay?
Yes, that looks
okay.
Good.
Okay. So everybody by now, they've received my, application email with the link to apply and things. They have our 2 videos to watch, very informative. You go over your admissions process, and then I actually go through the entire application. So if you guys haven't watched those videos yet, please watch them. They pretty much answer most questions. So really today, we're just going to kind of just go over just a few little extra things to help. But when you log in, like this is just, I have some fake little applications of mine here. So I'm just going to click on one. So when you start your application, this is kind of what it looks like. You pull up, you've got all these little sections on the side. And this first page, auto populates your information. Now, the one thing it tells you is to go into EKU DegreeWorks and get your class history. And this is one thing that sometimes students have difficulty with. And I want to show you guys how to do it with this video. So I have a fake DegreeWorks history here I'm going to pull up. And this one, of course, because they didn't make it social work, they made it general studies. So it's just, we're just going to work with this. But so Firefox and Internet Explorer are typically the 2 browsers that work perfectly with DegreeWorks. They show everything. Now, if you happen to be on Internet Chrome, Google Chrome, or if you're on your phone, particularly if you're on your phone, a lot of times when you pull up your DegreeWorks, it's blank. And so don't panic. It's kind of normal. There are ways to get around it. Now, everybody, when they pull up DegreeWorks, will see this top little part that has your name, and it's got like these little tabs. And then it has these buttons here that say Save as PDF and Class History. So this is where we're going to focus on. So whenever you're gathering your grades, like for those 5 classes, the English classes, Social 131, Psych 200, Social Work 210, this is where you're going to get that from, the class history. You click on it, you just click on it, and it pulls up a pop-up. And sometimes students don't get the pop-up. You might check your pop-up blocker to make sure you don't have it blocked. but this typically, like I said, this is a freshman student's not taking a class, but this will populate all of your classes right in this little section. So it's kind of a good, now you're going to have to upload your DegreeWorks history anyways into your application. So it's good that you pull it up. You're going to click on this little spot here, and you're going to click on print, and you save it as a PDF. Okay. And so you save it on your desktop to refer to whenever you need to for grades. And then you're going to, when you submit your application, you're going to have to submit your class history. And so it's kind of good to just knock that out, get that done, so you have something to refer to. Now, there are some people that they just, no matter what they try, they cannot pull up the class history. And that's okay. If you can't pull it up, that just email me later. I can save a copy for you so you can submit to the application. No big deal. But if it's the weekend, I'm not available, and you're like, I really want to work on this, click Save as PDF. Now, this right here, if this was all blank, Save as PDF will pull up everything that you're not seeing. So it's basically, it just mirrors this page. So if you click Save as PDF, this will show you, this is called your DegreeWorks audit. And it basically shows your gen ed. So this is like your English classes would show up in the gen ed section. Your Psych 200 and Social 131 and Social Work 210, you would have a social work section down here after the gen eds. That's where you will find those grades listed as well. And the only one thing that's students sometimes they come up with, and it's very odd, if you are gen ed certified, sometimes these boxes are checked. Like, let's say you're gen ed certified in English, they might check a little green box and they might not list your grades. They might just say, you're done, you've done it. And they're like, oh my gosh, where are my grades? It's easy. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. And a lot of times there's going to be a section down here. It's free electives. Sometimes they put English 101, 102 in the free electives section because you're gen ed certified. I don't know why they do it. So if you don't see English 101 and English 102 listed in your gen eds, it's 99% of the time it's in free electives. So just don't panic, just scroll down to that section and you will easily find them there. So this is just how you do your audit. And do you have anything to add?
Great. That's great. Yeah. And that's where you find your advisor too on there. If you,
yes, because normally
my advisor,
this says university advising. This would say me right here. Yeah. And I think too, there's like a hyperlink on the audit that you could always click on it and it'll go to me, if you know, so that's kind of nice. Yeah. So that is this.
Very good.
And so, yeah, so class history, save as PDF. It's good to know in general for later on if you need to look up your stuff too.
Yeah.
And also, let me go back to the application. So that's where the DegreeWorks class history comes in handy when you're going to the required courses section. That way you can put your classes and your grades in there. One question I get a lot, what if I haven't volunteered yet? I'm in 210, I haven't done any volunteer work. That's fine. You know, when you click to add volunteer experience, you can just put in here, currently taking social work 210. You know, I plan to volunteer, or I'm currently volunteering here this semester. That's all you have to put. And if you've taken 210 and volunteered in the past, and you're going to be writing your big paper, you know, your summary paper on that, you don't have to write a ton of stuff in here. You could just put, you know, estimate of your dates when you did it, just a little brief description, because that's going to all be handled in your transfer 210 paper you do for us. So just keep this brief, no big deal. Now, this is the paper section, which is the big deal. This is probably the biggest deal of the app, because the application in itself, I think, you know, we've discussed this, Dr. Stevenson. The application itself is pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. We've described so much of it, but the main two things that students really need to focus on is the paper, the admission paper, and getting your recommendations. Now, the admission paper section, this tells you everything here, you know, APA style, double spaced, 7th edition, do not write your name anywhere, you know, 3 to 4 pages. Now, here's the thing. we we value quality over quantity. You don't need to write over 4 pages. You don't need to write a 10-page paper. You can easily answer this paper topic in 3 to 4 pages. It's not going to hurt you if you write longer than that, but it's not necessary. There have been some excellent papers that were 3 pages long in length, and we say 3 to 4 pages. That does not include cover, letter, the cover page, or does not include the reference. That is cover page, 3 to 4 pages of the body of the paper, references. And here, it says here, you can see the admission paper general info with scoring here. So click on the rubric. And this gives you even more information, which is very beneficial. Again, it lists the topic, what you need to do for the paper, 7th edition. But this time, Dr. Stevenson added some great things in here. We have like a scoring criteria. There's required elements and there are preferred. And she added in the code of ethics. So, you can click on the code of ethics and it's going to take you to that website. And that way you can actually scroll down and look at these values, these core values that are in this question. You could scroll down and look at these values. Okay. So there's that. And she also included this awesome APA edition format.
This is my favorite guide.
I wish I had this back in school. This is amazing. This is so great.
A good job making these like handouts now that they didn't used to have. It's really good.
Yeah. So this is a setup guide, basic setup. This tells you everything you need to know. And you scroll down and it's got examples. It's wonderful. It's a pretty, like 19 pages, guys. It's very detailed. Very detailed.
Lots.
And they even have like sample paper. I mean, this is great. It's great. So we highly recommend you clicking on that. So anything you want to stress?
I stressed last night in the orientation. People had asked, scroll down to the preferred elements. So if you
when she says orientation, she did an orientation for her campus students. So don't worry, you didn't miss an orientation.
Yeah.
all my online students are good. Yeah, the video. Okay, right here. Okay, so we have required and we have preferred elements. Yes.
You have to have all 7 of those required ones. Check.
Required. Here we are. Required.
All of those. But when you get to the preferred elements, you only need 2 of these. So if you look over them, if you're somebody that's not a good writer, sometimes spelling is just not your thing. You work at it, but it's not your favorite thing. Look at these. There's some other things you can do to get 2 check marks. Look down at showing a passion for a career in social work. It is evident through the writing. You can do that. That's a good one, right? Check. And then the second one would be student uses more than 1 reference. Use the NASW Code of Ethics that we just gave you the link to as one of your references. Put that in there. That's a big hint. And then the second one is something you're going to reference in that paper. What's a reference to something in the value that you know about in the community, that you read about in one of your social work books? Reference something like that. Just find something that's going to help support the ideas you're saying. Just put 2 in there. No big deal.
And would you say, like, if a student is paraphrasing or they're borrowing heavily from something, it's always in their best interest to cite it, because you don't want to get dinged for plagiarism.
Yeah, better to cite in error because you add too many than too few. You don't get in trouble.
Absolutely. Even if you're looking at, you're like, I'm citing a lot. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Rather you do that. You do that. Anything else you can think about for the paper?
You're going to do
Noel Studio. Yeah. Okay. So one thing which I highly recommend, if I can move this little section here. Okay. that little guy's in my way. Can you still see my screen a little bit? Like, you see part of my dog. My dog. And let's not look at all of my screen icons. Oh my goodness. That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. So if you're writing your paper, you have like 2 weeks to write it, but it's always good to have another set of eyes to look it over. And we have Knoll Studio at EKU. You can meet in person, but they do Zoom sessions. So if you don't live here in Richmond, it's okay. You could set up an online session. Now, students will ask me, how do I find places? Like sometimes, especially if it's a weekend and I'm not around and you're like, how do I find? So if you go to EKU's main website, this is a great thing to always remember. Click on the search thing. Click on search. Now, it looks like Noel, the word, it's Knoll Studio. So we're like, we click search. NOEL Studio. And then click enter. So we're searching for Knoll Studio. Here's welcome to Knoll Studio. So let's click on that. And this is, the Wells, you could do a little chat here, but really the main thing is we want you to go to the for students section. Click on for students. And it's going to talk about what the center is, what happens during consultation. So I think a lot of times they want students to first schedule a quick consult before you have a big meeting with them to go over a paper. And so you click schedule an appointment on this page. And if you scroll down, they have a lot of spaces available before the 21st. Now, the thing is, they don't schedule out a week advance. So I would go ahead and schedule like a quick consult with them. Let's say, next week, maybe schedule, like, let's say you want to schedule a quick consult on the 13th. Look at all the times they have. Nice. Look at all of these times. There are so many times. So these are just a quick little general consultation with someone. Schedule that. And then you can describe to them, okay, this is a paper I'm writing in to get to the program. It needs APA formatting, 2 to 3 pages. You can kind of give them the rundown of what you've been tasked to do. And then they'll probably say, okay, work on your paper. And then they'll probably schedule a time with you to get back with them to go over your paper. And just just keep in mind the paper is due when the application's due on the 21st before midnight. So you're not going to want to schedule with them the 20th. Okay. Let's do more like the 18th or so. So if you have to make any changes, you have plenty of time. Okay. So the Knoll Studio, again, like I said, you get to it through, just going through EKU search up here on the first page. And another thing too, one thing I've gotten some questions from students that I feel like they're doing their application on their phone. Don't do your application on your phone. It's the problem with the phone is it doesn't show all of the application components. Sometimes it might leave something off, or you might get an error. If you're going to be submitting papers and doing things, it's best to do the application on a laptop or computer, because I just don't want you guys to, it might look a little different on the phone, and to really see what the application looks like in full detail, it's always best to do it on your laptop or computer. Again, like I said, when people try to pull the DegreeWorks class history, you can't do it on your phone. Or a lot of times you can't see your DegreeWorks audit on your phone. It's just, it just comes down to what you're using. So definitely, make sure to read the paper general information rubric here, schedule with Knoll Studio for a consult. And again, this is the paper topic, guys. See this right here? Your paper top. This is the topic right over the top.
Get creative. Do that.
Just do it, because sometimes students in the past ignore the topic and they write a great paper about how I want to be a social worker, but that's not going to work. That's not going to get you in. You just got to make sure you follow the topic, and then you upload it here. Recommendations, another thing. Add a recommender here. So when you add a recommender, you put all their information, you put a personal message that's going to get sent to them. You waive or don't waive your rights to access the report. You can send it to a recommender whether you do or do not waive your rights. It's fine. Put your signature in here and you send it to your recommender. When it gets sent, it's going to tell you the status, whether they've read it, whether they've submitted it. Now, you're going to get an email when a recommender submits it. You'll get an email like, Kerstin, so-and-so submitted your recommend. So you'll know. But if it's around the 21st, close to it, and you're like, uh-oh, status still shows, just sent, you might want to add some more recommenders in there. You don't just have to add 2. If you're worried, you have a great recommender, but sometimes they might be late on things. Feel free to put 3 or 4 people in here. That's okay. Put as many as we just need to make sure you have the minimum 2.
Yeah.
And so that's
make sure you check in with those people before they get this automated message to let them know that it's coming. Sometimes I'll get them in my email. Where is this place? Why am I doing this? And then let them know ahead of time. I really would love for you to do this. You'll be getting a note from EKU. That would be really polite.
Yeah, that, and also too, like I sent one to a Gmail account of mine just to see. Now I got it in my Gmail account, but sometimes it might go to spam or junk.
True.
So that's always good to get in touch with them beforehand, give them a heads up. So that way, if you send it to them and they're like, oh, I didn't receive it, just say, oh, can you look through your other folders? Let's see if you didn't miss it. So it could happen that, and if you have to resend it, you can always resend it. You can go back into your recommenders and resend it if you need to.
Nice.
So yeah, definitely give them a heads up. And if you're worried you're not going to get them in, add more recommenders. And we stress no family members.
No family.
And no EKU faculty, BSW faculty. Now, and just make sure it's somebody that, knows that might have worked with you in the past, or somebody that has, they can attest to your character.
Yes.
Somebody that just barely knows you might not give you a good recommendation, but just somebody that knows you well, or knows how you work, those are great people to be recommenders, for you. Materials. Again, look, class history, see? I told you we needed it. It's up here. And again, it gives you instructions, what I just did. It tells you exactly to do what I just did. But then again, if you have any problems with the class history, you've tried every browser, it's just not working. Don't panic, email me. I can always pull it up for you if you need it. Last minute, I can do it. No big deal. Code of ethics, photo, we need a photo. And this right here is for the transfer 210 volunteer experience. And you guys have already received this in the email from me, but the assignment is detailed in this link as well. So you can click on the link. And this, I have set this to, it just went to my other screen. Hold on. There we go.
Nice.
It's on there. It's on the application. So, organization, maintain a log, summer paper. Now, if you did volunteer work with 210 and you only did 15 hours, you need to do an extra 10 hours. Do another place. You have all semester. We'll give you guys until like December to finish. Your application decision will just be pending. You'll know if you got, like, it'll be like you've been accepted, but it's pending until we get in this last component. And that's fine. And you will need to write 2 separate papers on 2 separate experiences. So 2 logs, 2 papers, 2 signatures. If you can't get an actual physical signature, again, you can email the supervisor and they can sign off on an email. That's fine. Yeah. We can accept an email. Now, the one thing is on the application, it only lets you upload 1 document. So do your paper, do a paper, like Word is the best to use anyways. Paper, login of hours, and like cut and paste, like an email, put it all in 1 document. Just make it easy. No big deal. And this is transcripts, not recorded. If there's some weird, we missed a transcript, upload any transcript we don't have. Social work major courses that you took at another school, any social work course listed here. Signature, and then review and submit. Now, it's going to tell you again, like I stressed it in my video, it's going to have little red flags. Hey, this is a required section you did not fill out properly, or you forgot to fill out, or something's wrong. It'll tell you to go back. And then there's going to be a possible, like this is a possible error. It might say, oh, if you transferred in 210, you didn't put it, but some of those possible errors might not apply to you. Or, we didn't receive an extra transcript. It might not apply to it all. But there's two sections. There's the absolute, we need these sections done. And then there's possible errors that might not apply to you. And just remember, when you hit review and submit, when you click submit, it's submitted. You can't go back. Oh, here it is. Like, look, review. See how we have, I have so many errors. So this is all the required section. And here, so the potential problems, like I said, these might not pertain to you, but these top ones will. Okay. Yes. And, but the great thing about this application is you have 2 weeks to do it. Don't feel like you have to fill it out and submit ASAP. Take the time, because, I'd rather you guys save the application, go back, review. I mean, especially you guys are so busy with classes. You're working hard on other papers and things. You might be tired. And I mean, I'd rather you guys save it, have a good night's rest, come back to it. You might see something you missed, just take your time. As long as you submit it before midnight, 11:59 on the 21st, that's Eastern time, Kentucky time. Okay. So, just take your time with it. And if there's anything weird or anything, now IT, if there's something technical, IT, that's something kind of outside of our realm, IT is 859-622-3000. So they're the technical guys that if there's just something not pulling up or something weird with the application, you can always contact IT. But for the most part, you can reach out to me if there's just something you have a question about that's strange about the application. Can you think of anything else that I'm missing?
Oh, yeah, and I'm available for questions too. If there's anything, you have any worries or questions about something, reach out. I'm pretty good with email too, because I like to teach the eCampus classes. So I don't turn things off on the weekends exactly. I'm kind of still grading stuff. So I'll keep an eye on stuff for that too. So if you need something, let me know.
Oh, one other thing I forgot.
Okay.
On your cover page for the paper, your big paper, the admissions paper with the topic, okay? You're going to be like, oh, this isn't a class and this isn't my professor. What do I put on my cover page? So instead of putting a class, you can put like BSW application for fall 23. And instead of an instructor, you can put, Director Dr. Erin Stevenson or Director Dr. Stevenson, just put Dr. Stevenson's name on there instead of a professor, just list her, the director. So that's the only part of the cover
might be a little
page. I think that would be a little different. But the one thing I will stress, take those elements seriously. I mean, we've had students that didn't pass because they didn't put a cover, like they missed a couple of points in the body of their email, and that missing the cover page that took them over the edge, and they didn't get in. So just make sure to always make sure you're hitting getting the cover page in, you're getting the references in. All of those elements of the paper matter. And it could just be a matter of 1 point, one little value that will change it. So that's why, again, we stress, take your time and use Knoll Studio. So look over your formatting. They can look over that 7th edition formatting, make sure you're hitting all the points there. And
don't put your name on your paper. That's the only part. Like we always say, put your name. No, don't do it this time, because if I see it, I might be biased, right? So you're helping prevent bias in the reviewers. And we know who, we know who wrote it. Like I know Evelyn, who's the person that collects, Evelyn Jones on the campus side. She's the one that's collecting all the applications. She and I know who's written what. So don't worry that we have a numbered system. We know
It's just the people that read, Dr. Stevenson and her other faculty that read these papers. We just want to make sure they are doing it, everybody gets a completely neutral, and everybody gets the same fairness and getting something graded. And so that's another, I know it seems weird not to put your name anywhere, but just trust us, don't do that.
Yeah, even with the second, if you're submitting your paper the second time, this is your second application.
Yes.
Send it to Evelyn, but don't put your name on it, and she'll take care of that, because we will also read those without any bias. We won't know whose is whose.
Yes.
Evelyn
And with the second application, if you are applying for your second time, you're just submitting a new paper. She's going to want your new paper emailed to her, and I've sent you guys that. She's also going to want an updated DegreeWorks history. So if you have issues with that, just let me know as well. Getting that, because you guys aren't filling out a new application. You're just going to be emailing Evelyn directly for your second attempt. And now for those that are in 350, 354, and I've said this before, I want to stress this. If you are applying for full admission this fall A, and you do not get in, and you are taking 350, 354 in fall B, you cannot take 350 or 354 if you do not get in. Those are for students that are fully accepted. So if that happened, it's okay. It happens. What that would mean is you would drop your B term classes and would push those to the next semester, and then you would reapply in spring A. And so there aren't any other social work classes to take in the B term. Now, sometimes students, what you can do if that happens, sometimes students can retake classes to boost GPA if you're worried about your FAFSA, and you're like, oh, I want to maintain full-time status. We can look and see if there are any classes that you could retake, because the FAFSA will allow students to retake one class once, as long as you got below an A, they'll let you retake a class with a B.
Nice.
Sometimes we have to scramble, and we will scramble. We'll figure it out for you. But just know, if you don't get in, you'd have to drop those classes. But what happens? It's okay. It's okay. And if that did happen, Dr. Stevenson can go over your paper with you to let you know, look over those elements and give you tips on when you write it next, when you write a new paper for spring, what you should focus more on.
We can talk about it, definitely.
Yeah. But the main thing is take the 2 weeks, pace yourselves, use Knoll Studio. You should be fine. And again, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. But if you have any very specific social work questions, reach out to, I would say reach out to Dr. Steven, because I'm not a social worker. So
close. You're so close.
I'm so close. But other than that, take a deep breath. Try not to panic. I know it's sometimes hard, but try not to be too stressed about it. And if you need us for anything, you can do this. If you need us for anything, just let us know.
Yeah. Look forward to seeing all.
And you know what?
Applications. Here's
the thing. I think it's been on that page the whole time. Hi, we're talking to you. We're
I could see us on the side. I don't know what
I never know if it records us on the side, but we're here. I promise we're here. But but no, if you need us for anything, just let us know. And thank you for watching our Q&A.
Yeah. Take care, you all.
Bye.